Good morning, Stampers. It is Saturday, December 31st, 2022, and happy New Year's Eve day. And I'm happy to be here with you today. I'm the first presenter kicking off our series of presentations this morning. And I have to tell you that it's 8 a.m. I'm in the Eastern time zone and I'm tired. I've been off work for since before Christmas, and my schedule is a little bit reversed. And I didn't sleep last night. I was afraid I was going to sleep in this morning. So I was up like at 4 and I thought, okay, just get into the craft room. And it is a rainy, dreary day, and it looks like midnight outside because it's so overcast and rainy. So I'm just checking here that I am live. And I am, and I've got 7 eyes on me. So hello everybody, good morning. And I'm hoping that you can hear me and see me okay. I did a test yesterday and I had an issue. So I'm hoping that when I switch my camera view that you will continue to hear me, because yesterday the sound was not working. So I see there's people on there. But I can't see comments. This is like, Facebook user. Hello from North Carolina. Hi, North Carolina. And we've got Virginia. Oh, it's rainy in Virginia too. Yeah, so it's excellent. You can hear me, see me. I just see Facebook user. I don't see names. So welcome. And I'm happy to share with you today's presentation. I'm going to be playing with On the Ocean. This is a new stamp set and coordinating dies that are in the mini catalog that is starting on January 5th. January the 5th. So if you are a customer of mine, I mailed these all out directly. I had them sent from Stampin' Up! To me this year. And if you are a customer of another demonstrator and you are looking for catalogs, please contact them directly to get your catalog if you haven't received it yet. Okay, so let's get started. And this is where I'm hoping that the sound will continue. And so this is the mini catalog and of course celebration. I love that all the demonstrations that I watched yesterday, we all had our catalogs with our names written on them, and I thought we are all so much alike. But this is because I make notes in my catalog, so I want to make sure that, so good morning, sound and look good, great, thank you. So yeah, we put our names on them because we make notes in the catalogs, and I don't want to give these to a customer in error. So be on the lookout for these. If you're in Canada, celebration goes from January 5th to February the 28th, and it's for every $60 purchase, you get to pick a free item from the $60 Canadian, a free item out of celebration. So be on the lookout for those if you haven't received them yet. So we are going to be playing with the On the Ocean stamp set, which was not one of my original purchases from the pre-order, but I don't know, I missed it in the catalog and I put in another order to get it. So and I just came on Wednesday. And I had to play with it right away. So we can weather this together. You are a treasure. I'd be lost without you. Happy birthday. Hoping this year is full of adventure and excitement. And we have a ship's wheel, a small skull and crossbone, clouds, waves, a pirate ship, and a flock of birds. I like to look at stamp sets and think, okay, what can I use this for? So great great stamp set to emboss with, great to use with the adhesive sheets with one of the dies. I'm going to show you those in a minute. Great scrapbook pages, kids cards, a little boy scrapbook page. It's great for that. Slimline cards, and I'm going to show you an idea that I had, but when I die cut the pieces out. Adventure cards, support, because I'd be lost without you. We can weather this together. And even Halloween, folks, you could make this ship, this pirate ship, do it in black with the skull and crossbones. So I think it would make a really great Halloween card if you wanted to incorporate another stamp set that said maybe Happy Halloween or something to that effect. It is a red rubber stamp set as well. And these, oh, I'm going to leave this out here. These are the coordinating dies that go with it. We've got, not all the dies coordinate with the pieces here. So we've got the, I'm calling it the pirate ship. It die cuts that out. We've got the cloud. It die cuts that out. And we have 2 of the ship's wheels, and they die cut those out as well. So that's the coordination with the stamp set. And these, I tend to call them standalone dies. And so we've got a pirate ship. We've got 2, I'm not a sailor, folks, so you're going to have to ignore me on some of this, but I think these are called sails or masts. I'm not sure, but we've got 2 of them, and we're going to be using, in our card, we're going to be using those. We're going to be using that. We've got 2 flags. We're going to be using those in our card. We've got a ship's wheel. We've got 2 of them, actually. I'm going to use that in the card. We've got a large skull and crossbone. And then we've got 2 waves. And before I get into the card, I want to share with you an idea. So when I get a stamp set like this, I know you just want to see the card, right? But I want to share this with you. I like to die cut out pieces so that I know how they can be used, and it's hard to tell from this how they're going to die cut out. So I went and die cut them out, and so this is the die cut for it, and I didn't snip it off. I just sort of did a big piece of paper, and then when I saw it, I thought, oh, if you were doing a scrapbook page or a slimline card, you could actually use this sort of as a pocket, and this is the die cut, and you could put the ship sort of in between the waves, and it would make a cute part of a page layout for a scrapbook or a slimline card. But this die, so this larger one, this is what you get. And in this case, the adhesive sheets will be your friend. So this is what it ends up looking like. But this one, you could use it as a stencil. You can use a finger dauber, sponge dauber. Don't know if I would necessarily use a blending brush, because I think it would be too harsh for the very delicate and intricate pieces in here. Or you could do a spray mist, alcohol and some re-inker, and spray it, and you get a really nice subtle background on a card or scrapbook page. So that's the stencil. And then this is the actual die cut. And I'm going to put this in here so you can see it. It mimics or aligns with, can you see that okay? With that wave. So that's how you would use it. So sometimes you really do have to die cut out all the pieces to appreciate what you're getting with them. Not necessarily in these big standalone pieces, but when you have these intricate details, it is worth die cutting them out. Okay, so without further ado, where is the card? I've die cut out some of the pieces already in the card, so you don't have to see me doing it. So this is the card that I thought of. I have a really hard time doing young boys cards, or kids cards, and even masculine cards. This is not a masculine card. I think this would be more of for a young boy, but it fits into an envelope like that. I'm not recreating the wheel. This style, I think it's called a pop-up box, has been around a long time. So it's just how to put the elements together so that you can get something that is a pop-up. And I'll give you some tips along the way. There are some things that you have to be cautious about when building this type of card. You can't go above the height of this panel, and you can't go beyond when you fold it flat. the edge. Now you can fold it flat one way and you'll be beyond the edge, but the other way, as long as you build it in the right direction, it'll fit fine into a standard envelope. And a standard envelope would be like that. This is kind of thick because I've got some dimensionals going on in there, but I'm going to give you some measurements and we can build this card together. And I'm going to show you how I use the waves and a lot of the elements that are in the stamp set. So I've used this die, this die, this die, these two, this one, oops, and yeah. So I like to make use of as many dies and stamps in a project as I can. All right, so I've also incorporated, what's it called? The Regency. I do have a note written down in my little pocket here. I'll get to it when I get to that measurement. I'll tell you what the paper is. I think it's called Regency. It's in the new catalog as well. All right. Okay. So we've got a piece of Balmy Blue, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored on the 8.5-inch side at 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then you are going to flip it, and you are going to score it at 2 1/4. Because this ship is tall, most cards you score it in half. But because this ship is tall and I needed the back panel to be higher, I've scored it shorter. So it's 2 1/4 on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to do some snipping, and I don't own a pair of the long Stampin' Up! Scissors. They've retired, or they haven't been available for years. So I have this old pair of scissors here, and I just find it easier when I am cutting long pieces. So ignore the fact that I am not using Stampin' Up! Scissors, please. Okay, so I'm going to snip along here. I have to think how I did this, and I'm going to snip down and cut off this edge totally. Okay, and now I'm going to snip down all of these sides all along the score line, and I'm going to meet that score line along the bottom there. And I like to snip before I burnish, because I find that I get in the score line, it's easier to cut in the score line before I actually fold everything. Okay. And I'm just going to take that a notch there, like that, and like that. Okay. And now I am going to, and I forgot to bring out, you're going to need some of the tearing tape. I have a very squeaky chair, folks, and I'm still looking for a new chair for my desk. I like them higher. My desk is high, and I don't want one that rolls. I just want one that swivels. So I'm being very picky about my desk chair, and so I should get in the meantime some WD-40 so I can get rid of that squeak. I notice that every time that I do a video, you can hear my chair squeak. Alrighty. Okay, and now I'm going to put some tear and tape down this side here. And you can use Tombow glue too. Use something that's strong. Any card that's interactive, I think you need to use something that's a bit stronger. And I am going to put two layers. And they kind of fall one on top of the other, so I had to pull the first one off. Like that. I hope you were all had a great holiday and are ready for New Year's Eve. Just call me a wild thing. I'll probably be crafting. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this panel over, and then I'm going to fold this panel over, and it's going to meet up perfectly, so you don't have to worry about them matching them. And this is the seam, and I am going to make that the back of the card. All right, so I've done that. All my little bits and pieces here. See, I was organized. And I should have put these on first. Okay, so we have 4 Night of Navy panels that are 1 3/4 by 3 1/8, like that. And we've got basic white, and we've got 2 that are 1 5/8 by 3. And then this is Regency Park Designer Series paper, and we're using the back side of that. And again, 1 5/8 by 3. Am I missing one of the Regency Park? Well, we'll pretend it's on my desk somewhere. There it is. All right. And I am going to put adhere these 1 each to the Night of Navy. Originally, I was going to use the Playing in the Rain Designer Series paper, and I think somebody used it yesterday, the one with the raindrops. Who was it that used that paper yesterday? And I was going to use that. And then I was looking at the Regency, and this worked perfectly, this paper. I thought the colors worked perfectly. It's like a pinstripe. It was more boyish. So I ended up using this one. I pivoted. Okay, we're going to do some stamping on these 2 pieces. And I'm going to use Balmy Blue. I'm going to stamp the sky twice, and then I'm going to stamp the birds, and I'm going to stamp the birds again, and then the happy birthday. We'll have to tell you that the happy birthday is a pain to use. You have to be so careful. You have to have, or maybe I'm just heavy-handed. I don't know. All right, so I've got, and look, before I started, I cleaned my blocks. Aren't you proud of me? I was proud of myself because I was up early, as I mentioned, and because I was afraid I was going to sleep in. And okay, so I'm going to stamp the cloud like this, and again, I want over on that side like that. So we've got 2 clouds, and that was the Balmy Blue. Now we're going to do the Night of Navy, and we're going to stamp some birds here like this, and birds on here like this. And you know what I'm going to do? Like the good Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that I am, I have an envelope here, and I am going to stamp birds on the envelope. I think on the back I'll put the ship's wheel. Okay, now you're going to see me panic. I have the happy birthday, and let's see if I can get this. I'm going to do a test here. Okay, well, that was good, folks. Can I just cut that and put it on here? And you know, it all depends on how you've mounted it on your block, if you've got the label on straight. And I always find that I am heavy on the Y. Oh my gosh, it worked. There we go. I am a little heavy on the Y. I'm right, maybe it's because I'm right-handed, and I put more pressure on the Y. But I am going to put that aside because I don't want to muck that up. And I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. And now I'm going to adhere this one to here. And I'm thinking that I probably should have mounted these before I put the box together, but I'll live dangerously. And I've got a really narrow matting, and it was intentional. If you like the more traditional matting, which is, I don't want, 1/4 inch, go for it. I just liked, because it's such a small box, I just didn't want a big matting on it. So I've done it a little narrow. And like that. And ooh. And this will go on here like this. like I've mentioned, I've been off work. And so yesterday I got to watch all of the presentations. It's really difficult, folks. I know that there are many time zones involved, and we all have lives and families and lives. So getting people together all in one day to do presentations is really difficult. So thank you for your patience and understanding. And I know this is really early in the morning for some of you that are out west, but then remember, we've got people in England that, they're getting ready to start celebrating New Year's Eve. So we're all over the map here. Oh, look, I smudged it. I didn't let it dry enough. And then this one here. I won't do it now, but I will fix that. I'll pull this off and do another one and stamp it and make sure it's dry before I adhere it. Okay, and there's the top one. And then these two are going to go on the sides like that. I made an observation yesterday in my fridge, and I know I'm not the only one. So I did a lot of baking, and I had tins of cookies that I gave away, and I had a couple of tins left for myself. And I also had in the fridge a full platter of fresh cut fruit, and it was all cut in a I got it at the grocery store. Do you know that the tins of cookies are gone and the fresh cut fruit hasn't been opened up yet? Am I the only one that gravitated towards the cookies over the holidays and not necessarily the healthy stuff? I thought that was funny. Okay, so we've got the box created. Now we've got to put an insert in here. And I've got 2 pieces of Balmy Blue that are 2 by 3, and they're scored at 1/2 inch and 2.5 inches. So there's 2 pieces, and 1/2 inch and 2.5 inches. And I'm going to fold one under and one over. You always prefer cooking above all else. Yeah, me too. Cookies, they were delicious. They're called Lemon Crinkle, and I had people texting me and sending me emails saying they were the best cookies ever. Lemon Crinkle cookies, they were delicious. Okay, so I digress. So I am going to put tear and tape on both ends. So on this end, it's not quite long enough for 2 complete rows, so I am going to pull the adhesive up. I want to make sure this is really secure, so I'm putting 2 rows. So like that one. Okay, so I've got one on this side, and then this side, so I've got adhesive on here, and then I'm going to flip over and I'm going to put adhesive here. Oh, if you want, I will post the recipe. I found it online. They are absolutely delicious, and they're not really a strong lemon. They're not a really strong. It's just a hint of lemon, and they are so good. Like, I will be making more. And when I go back to work, I don't know what day it is anymore. When I go back to work, I'll be taking a tin to work as well, because they are delicious. Great with a cup of tea. If you are a tea drinker, you'll love them. Okay, so now I've got one of them, and it's like a Z. I forgot to pull the, and I found it easier to put in one panel at a time. So the one that's facing me like this way, I am going to put it in this corner. And then let me see, like that. Okay. So you see how I've got it, there we go, like that. And now I'm going to fold my card, and I'm going to seal down the other side. So now I've got the 1Z fold in there like that. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing on another one. Fold under and then fold this one over. And like this. Anytime you've got a card that has movement to it or is interactive, it's really good. It's a good idea to use really strong adhesive. Okay. Like this. The fun part of this card, I think, is actually pulling it together and putting all the little bits and pieces in it. You know, I've seen it done with flowers. Makes a great flower box, or butterflies. I'm wondering if Playing in the Rain, which is another stamp set I bought, and I think it's so cute. Or one idea I had and haven't done it yet is, you know, and I've got it on my desk, it's what made me think about it, Charming Sentiments, which I'm not doing a presentation on, but I thought it would be really good to do this box and then have all these kind of words popping out of the box. It's an image in my mind. I don't know how it would translate onto paper, but that's where my mind goes sometimes when I'm doing something. I think, ooh, how else can you use this? I thought it'd be really cute to have a card with all different sentiments coming out. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn it backwards. This card that I did, I put this panel the same as I did with this one, like right at that corner, but I did it in this corner. I think it was too far back, so I want to bring it up just a little bit. And I'm going to fold this down, and I'm going to put it sort of like that. Can you see? So it's not quite all the way back, and seal it. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it. And look, like magic, it adheres to the other side. All right, so now we have to start building. And I am going to use this early espresso. It's the pirate ship. And I die cut out basic white. All these little notes, and now the little notes have all fallen apart. So I've die cut out the ship's sails. I die cut out one of the tall ones, and then I die cut out one of these sails, and I ran it through the painted texture. I think that's what it's called, something like that. Painted texture 3D embossing folder. I wanted a little bit more detail. I also want it to have stability. So what I've done is, let's see, it's going to go like that. And it really doesn't match. There's not a lot of places to adhere the ship, right? So what I have done is I've put a little bit of Tombow glue here, like that, and a little titch of Tombow glue there. And this is not going to be enough, folks. So we are going to make it better, like that. And how did I do this? Oh, maybe I did it this way. Sorry. I did it this way. Oh, I cut out two. That's what I did. I cut out two ships. Okay, I cut out two ships because I wanted to have stability like that. Okay, and it's really not going to be very stable because there's really only two little spots, right, that it's adhered to. So I cut out two, and this mast needs to be on the outside of the ship. So then I'm taking this mast or sail that I've embossed, and I'm going to adhere it on the top like that. All right, and I'm going to use Tombow glue. And like anything, when you emboss something, it loses a little bit of its stability. And this is very flimsy now because I did emboss it. And so I'm going to add it to here, like that. Okay. Now, what I don't like is the fact that this pole is on the back side of the ship, right? Or the back side of the mast. It should be on the front. So then I've die cut another one and I'm putting it on like that, and I'm going to adhere it. It's going to give it extra stability and it's going to look like how it should. I know I had to make things work, and I'm just going to use some Tombow glue. It was one of those projects in progress. Every time I did something, it'd be like, oh no, I need it to look like it should, or it's not stable. And so now it's got a lot of stability to it. All right. And what I'm going to do here is, do I want to put it on the back side, on the front side? On the front side, on this edge, I am going to put a little bit of Tombow glue like that. And I am going to adhere this down. But keep in mind that it has to be no higher than that back panel, right? So it is sitting pretty low. And the other thing is that it can't stick out on this side. It can, oh, it's pretty good. So it is sticking out on that side, but I want to actually angle it a little bit more so that it's jaunty. Does that make sense? So that it's jaunty, yeah. There we go. It's a little high. There we go. That's what I love with the Tombow glue. It gives you time to really move things around. Okay, so there is the boat, the ship inside. Now we need to decorate it. I'm going to put a red flag on the top of the, I think that's called a crow's nest. Are you impressed with my knowledge here? Because I do watch Below Deck. Anyone else a Below Deck fan? I do watch Below Deck Sailing and all of those shows. There we go. Here's the flag. That's what it's called. All right. So now I've die cut out a bunch of these. So these are the waves. These are I'm going to say the positive side of the waves. That's the waves that have the scallop matches to it. And these are the top part of the wave. And I'm going to bring out my blending brush. And I'm going to bring out my Balmy Blue. I want to put a little bit of detail. Oh, you've watched Pirates of the Caribbean? Yeah, I watched that too. So I think that's what it's called, a crow's nest. And I'm just going to highlight, I guess, the edges of the waves, just to give a little bit of added dimension. I will be cutting these down to, obviously they're not going to fit inside the box. You can also, you've got the positive side, and this is the other side of the die, so you can use that as well. I'm looking out the window and it's 8:34 and it is so dark outside. If there's any of my customers that are in the same city as I am, it is so dark that it looks like it is midnight still. I can't get over how dark it is. But they say it's going to be not great weather for the next few days. We had, just before Christmas, we had a severe weather, like Buffalo, can't believe we're just on the other side of the lake from Buffalo and how bad they got it. And we hardly got anything. But what we did get is gone because it was so mild the last couple of days. All right. And this is about 2 inches, so I want to cut it down just a little bit less than 2 inches. And I always use my grid paper. And pick what waves you want. And the other thing to, you can see I'm not being very fussy. The other thing to, I'm going to dry fit it, to consider is the depth, this depth. So the first one I put in, I don't want it very tall because I don't want it to be above everything else, right? And see how it's got this little, I don't like that. So I am just going to, there we go, make it so that it's not so a defined square. And so I'm going to adhere it in like that. And I'm going to put some Tombow glue. And I'm going to do it so that it's not so high, because I want to have dimension. And I'm going to just fold it over, make sure that it's okay. So we've got the first wave. And now I'm going to use the second wave, and I'm going to stick it on the back side, this one on the front of that one. And again, I want 2 inches. I'm going to cut this one up like this, and this one I'm going to trim down a little bit like that. Trim a little bit more. Like that. And it's up a little bit higher. And again, I just want to test it. So now I'm going to put adhesive on the back here. And like this. And I want it higher. I'm folding it left and right just to make sure it's sealed, and also to make sure I haven't gone outside of the edge. All right, so there's the, and you can put as many as you want. And now you need a bunch of pieces of window sheets, and these are 3 by 1/2 inch. And basic white, and I've got all of these. I've got my skull and crossbone, I've got my flag somewhere. I have, oh, there it is. I have a ship's wheel, and I'm going to be using those. So this one, I put the ship's wheel here, but I actually afterwards thought I'd like the skull and crossbone there, so I'm going to switch this up just a little bit. You're going to need dimensionals. Oh, for the skull and crossbone, use a black dimensional. Because it's tiny and it's black, so you won't see it, right? So I am using a black dimensional. And I'm going to put it on the tip. Really hard to see the window sheet, but that's the whole point behind it. And I'm going to put a dimensional on this side. I'm going to do a small dimensional. So at the bottom, oops, like that. And I'm going to put this so that the skull and crossbone peeks out. Whoops. Like that. Okay, so there's the skull and crossbone. I know I'm safe with the right and left side because I haven't gotten past that mast. All right. Now I'm going to use the ship's wheel. And I'm going to use a large dimensional because it's larger. Oh no, I'll use a small one because I've got thin piece of window sheet like that. Alrighty. And again, where am I going to put this one? I'm going to put this one on the front. So I'm going to use a dimensional on this side. This card will be a bit bulky to put in the mail because of the dimensionals and all the layers, but it's worth it. I think, anyhow. Okay, I can twist this one a little bit so that it's, there we go, I'm still good. So we've got the ship's wheel, and you can put them, actually I want to put the ship's wheel a little bit lower, like that. There we go, it's a little bit lower. We have one more flag that we're going to use. We're getting there, folks, we're getting there. I know I'm taking more time than, but as long as I'm done before the top of the hour, I think I'm good. We've got another flag here. I'm going to put the flag like that. And again, another dimensional. And as you come closer towards the front, you can make them shorter to give it dimension. And then the last thing we're going to do, I have a little piece of basic white that is 1/2 by 3/4. And I'm going to use the You Are a Treasure, which I forgot to mount, like this. And I'm going to use Night of Navy. I love the card, so cute. And yeah, and I think it's cute for a little boy. I think it's adorable for a little boy. And I, folks, am not great with little boys' cards at all. I've never have been, but when I saw this stamp set, it was like, yeah, I'm going to put in a regular envelope, then put in a bubble envelope to mail. Yeah, that would be perfect. Put it in a regular envelope and then a bubble envelope to mail. And then I'm killing time because I don't want that to smudge, but it probably will. Because you know, folks, I know it's not just me, but Night of Navy takes forever to cure. Okay, like that. And then this one is going to go in the front. And I'm going to use a large dimensional because this is quite a large piece of window sheet. Large dimensional. You don't have to use dimensionals. You can actually just put Tombow glue and adhere it down. But I think adding the dimensionals gives it a little bit more dimension. And I'm going to put this, oops, kind of lower, like that. You are a treasure. What do you think? What do you think? I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And then it folds like that, and it would fit into a standard envelope, no problemo. But I like the idea of putting it into a box. Oh, this is an immediate wow. Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy. Like, Happy New Year, folks. And this is me at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's been up since 4. But I'm glad you guys like the card. And up next is Angie. And I know she is going to inspire us. We've lost Chrissy won't be able to participate today, but she will post something during the week. She's has a very important engagement she's going to be attending. So she's posted something about that. So understandable. So she won't be here today, but you've got Angie, then Katie, and then Joy. All right, take care, happy stamping, and Happy New Year. I feel, if I was a good presenter, I'd have like a blowhorn and I'd be like a hat on and the whole bit. But anyhow, take care, happy stamping, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.